All right. Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody. Welcome to our next mastermind here. Today, we're talking about common objection handlers, and we've got about 5 of them that we're going to go over today. Uncle Tim and Poppy are going to be our actors for today. And with that, we'll get it started with the number one. We only want to give you a 30 or 90-day listing.
Brooks, do we want to do that first? Do you want to give the big announcement?
Well, I thought we were going to save that till the end, but yeah, we got
okay.
some good news coming for everybody. But yeah, I figured we'd hold off the surprise to the end.
Is this to keep them all on the call the whole time?
Yeah, we don't want to give them the news early and then ditch out on the rest of the call.
Okay.
Tim, you know how Tim can't keep secrets that long. So, I mean, he's like dying over there.
Well, one of the secrets that I was going to give was, Aaron, do we have the photos all photoshopped and ready to go from the awards?
Yes, yes. Those were actually individually emailed to all the agents yesterday that were in them. And then I'm going to work on posting today.
Okay, sounds good. So we got
All
that
right.
one announcement out, and we'll start with the first one, Dad.
Look, Tim, I really like what you have to say, but I got burned the last time. I only want to give you a 30-day listing.
A 30-day listing. Gene, I'm sorry, I can't do that. 6 months is our company policy. Therefore, all we need to do now is simply sign the contract so I can help you get what you want in the time that you want. Won't that make sense?
Well, it sort of does, but I'm going to have to talk that over with my wife.
You need to talk that over with your wife?
Right.
Yeah. Gene, we're here today. Why don't we do this? Why don't you go ahead and sign the contract? You talk it over with your wife, and let me tell you how we both win then.
Okay.
You have 24 hours to discuss it with your wife. Okay.
Okay.
And at the end, if she's not in agreement with it, we'll simply tear the contract up. Otherwise, I'll get started working on your home. Fair enough?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
that's
Why
fair
don't you
enough.
go ahead and sign the contract tonight?
Good enough. Well, look, if we're going to do that, let's list high. We can always come down later.
Gene, I can understand that you want to list high to leave room for negotiation. And you have to consider the problem that creates you. Most people today won't even look at a property that is priced too high. Would you rather have people bidding on your home and having a bidding war, or not have the opportunity to negotiate any contracts at all?
I want the bidding.
You want the bidding war, of course you do. So all we need to do now is sign the contract so I can help you get what you want in the time that you want. Sign the contract.
Okay. Another agent said they could get me more money, Tim.
Well, I can understand that and appreciate that. And what you probably don't understand is this, Gene. An agent that's willing to list your home and list your property overpriced assumes that they can take your listing now and then start beating you up week after week after week. Is that what you want?
No.
No, yeah, they want to beat you up and lower the price now. Right. Gene, they're afraid to tell you the truth up front. Do you want the truth?
I do.
Of course you do. Let's do the right thing and simply sign the contract tonight so I can help you get what you want in the time that you want.
Okay.
Okay.
Notice how he is always persistent in asking for the signature. It's very important that you have the courage to do that on every one of these objection handlers. We want to, if we're going to do this, I don't want to pay 6%. Will you cut your commission?
No. Any other questions?
Wow.
Well, let's just go ahead and sign the contract, Jane. That's a simple one.
The other agent said she would do it for 4%.
The other agent said they do it for 4%. I can appreciate that, but can I tell you how that makes me nervous?
Go ahead.
Okay, if another agent's so willing to discount their own net worth up front, Gene, how strong do you possibly think they're going to be in defending you and the price we set on this home?
I guess really not that strong.
No, of course not. I have the courage. Do you feel I can sell your home?
Yes.
Good. All we need to do now is simply sign the contract so I can help you get what you want in the time that you want. Won't that be great?
That will be.
Good. Sign the contract. So those are some simple ones that we have that are standard Mike Ferry objections. Now, some of you are probably sitting there saying, I'd never say that. I can't say that. You know, it's scripted. And we're doing it pretty quick, okay, to get through it. But the thing is if somebody were to say to you, I want you to do it for 4% because another company said they would do that, what would you say? Would you know what to say? You know, would you be flustered at that point in time? Or would you take it for 4% because you don't want to lose the listing? You have to be strong enough to know what to say and to how to handle it. And again, if they were going to say, the other agent said they would do it for 4%, you need to put some drama into it. 4%? Are you kidding me? Man, do you know how you know how that makes me nervous? If that other agent is seriously that willing to discount their own net worth, how strong do you possibly think they're going to be in defending you and the price we set on this home? You know, I have the courage to tell you the truth. Do you feel I can sell your home? You know, you just have to be comfortable and know what to say and then close. Always be closing. ABC. Always be closing. And that's what we want to get the point across is no matter what the objection is, you got to have a response. So if you don't have a copy of the most common objections or the script book, Brooks, we can send one out to everybody today. And you can start reading them and internalizing them so that the next time you're on an appointment, you can have a response back to the sellers as to what to say and try to make it a conversation, because it's not going to go that easy. You're going to have a conversation about it. But, you know, sometimes you got to put a little drama into it too. Like when they said about the 4%, oh my God, seriously, 4%? You know, make it fun. You know, put a little action into it.
Yeah, this is, you know, it's not uncommon, and the more you practice, the better you get at it. One of the common objections that I remember that people would say was, well, why didn't you show my home? You know, where were you when when my home was offered for sale? I think I'm going to list with one of the other agents that showed my home. And my standard objection to that would be, well, you know, it's a great question about where was I? I'll tell you what I was doing at that point in time. I had 10 listings, and all of those listings got sold because I absolutely concentrated my time on my clients. You know, seriously, if you'd have listed with me, we wouldn't be having this objection. It's another objection handler that we got from various people around the regions just to do what we're talking about. And it all became natural because of the practice week after week after week. And, you know, the more skillful you become and the better you are at it and the better listener you are, the easier the objection handling becomes.
Kong, you've used some of these before, especially I want you to cut your commission, no any other questions. Has it worked for you?
Yes. And the reason why is you have to have a very strong presentation so that they can't say no. When they can't say no, you know you've done your job and created value so that the client knows they're going to get their 6% worth.
Yep. And the first one we did was, I only want to give you a 30-day listing. I'm sorry, I can't do that. 6 months is our company policy. Therefore, all we need to do now is simply sign the contract. You know, it's just a real simple response to them. I'm sorry, I can't do that. You know, some people will be like, oh, okay, you know, and because they tried, but then they give up. But then you're going to run across your more difficult person that's going to say, well, if you're not going to do that, then I'm not going to give you the listing. You know, then you might want to ask them another question. Well, what's important to you about only having a 30-day listing? Because realistically, that's not even common in this industry. And get it to come out of their mouth what the problem is. You know, if you said no, 6 months is our company policy, and then you follow up with another question, if they're not good, get it to come out of their mouth, because then maybe you can find some common ground. Maybe the common ground was, look, I need to have it for 6 months for marketing. If you're not happy after a few months, I'll put in the contract that you can cancel it with so much written notice. But you got to figure out what the problem is. And when you're handling objections by asking questions too. So asking a lot of questions is important. Mike Ferry would say, selling is not telling, it's asking great questions. Brooks, anything you want to add to that with regards to some of these short answers?
I think like Kong said, it's all about having a good presentation, because some of these do run together, in my opinion, because when they're asking you, will you cut your commission, and you say no, any other questions, they're going to probably ask you, well, what do you do to get homes sold? And you have to have that answer either already explained or keyed up in your mind so you can handle that objection on the fly. But if you have a great presentation, you already went over those points. So when you say no, any other questions, a lot of times they don't combat you on that.
Right. And if you don't feel strong enough to say no, any other questions, you can say, I'm sorry, I can't do that. Any other questions? You know, you can be a little softer in the approach, but still stay direct with it. You know, no, any other questions is an emphatic, I'm not going to bend on this thing. Now, whenever you're handling objections, you have to, by asking a lot of questions, you have to find out whether or not it's an objection or a condition. If it's an objection, you can ask enough questions and figure out a solution to the situation. If it's a condition, then it's not going to happen. You know what I mean? There's a reason why you're not going to get that listing at whatever price or the time period or whatever it is. So you got to figure out whether it's an objection or a condition.
Hey, Tim, on the commissions too, I mean, say you have 6%, you know, overall commission, and they want to cut it. They think it's only 1% or 1.5% or whatever it may be. It's really more than that. If you actually do your commission, you know, it might be 33%. It might be, you know, it's not actually just, it's 1% in their mind on that number, but for you, money wise, it's not more than that.
Mm-hmm. For years, I've always said about the cutting the commission too is, look, let's not carve the bear up until it's shot. Let's shoot the bear first, then we'll carve it up. Let's list it at the 6% commission. And if we can't get you the number that you're looking for, then we can go back to the other agent and myself, and we can say, look, we can't get it. The seller won't agree to this number, but they'll agree to this number if we do it for 5%. Then you can try to do it. But if you have it at the higher number up front, it will bring you more
Room to negotiate.
well, room to negotiate, plus more agents to show your listing. You know, we went through a market the last 24 months, 18 months, where it wouldn't matter if you took it at 3%, 4%, 5%, or 6%. Agents would show it because they were desperate to show anything because there were no listings. Now, right now, we're still in that same situation where it's limited inventory. But as the inventory starts to grow, and if and when the inventory starts to grow, it's going to be important to keep those commission rates higher rather than lower. And that's when you can say, look, let's not carve this bear up until we shoot it. Let's at least have it at the 6% commission, you know, to attract more agents to show your property. Doesn't that make sense to you? You know, and followed up with a question, doesn't that make sense? And look at them and tilt your head and raise your eyebrows and shake your head, you know, and get them to agree with you. Again, this listing presentation isn't just filling out the paperwork and sending it in DocuSign and hope they send it back. The listing presentation is actually making a presentation, looking eye to eye with these people, shaking your head, agreeing with them, you know, shrugging your shoulders, tilting your head, you know, those type of things. You have to be in the moment. Kong, anything else you want to
It's
say?
it's very psychological sometimes too, and it's not really necessarily about like, you know, sometimes it's just the personality of the person who's listing their home. They come in thinking, oh, I'm gonna get a good deal. I don't care what that deal is, I'm gonna negotiate.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes if you can just get them to negotiate on something else, they still walk away feeling like they won. And it really didn't have anything to do with the commission. It's just that the commission is the only thing that they think they can negotiate with.
Mm-hmm. Kong, you've done the what's your commission rate? You know, 6, 7, or 8? Which one would you like? You know,
That was Bobby Stevens. He
Okay.
lets Bob, what do you used to say? I let the client pick 6 to 10%.
Try not to even get to that point to where we're talking about commissions. I just tell them when I get to that contract, I said, by the way, the commission at Remax First Advantage is between 6 and 10%. And I know the one you're going to pick. So that's what I have on the contract. It's a 6% commission. And the only time that I get an objection is, well, it's really a statement, is that, well, who in the world would pay 10%? And I said, what you need to realize is that residential sales are between 6, 7, maybe even 8. The other is commercial. So I don't get any feedback after that. So all of mine are 6%.
anybody want to add anything to their experiences when it comes to commission and negotiating commission?
Or anything along the way with trying to get a listing appointment.
Okay, well, Brooksy, are you gonna tell them the history of what happened and the phone call that we ended up getting then yesterday?
Yeah, I'll give the short story version. So as everybody knows, Remax International is sunsetting the Bouge program, which we've come to find out that is going to go away officially the end of 2023. So in replacement, we're getting the KV Core system that we've went over in a little bit of detail. We watched the video in one of our masterminds, and Remax has been kind of unclear with us as to when our region of the country was going to get that new piece of software. Well, after Uncle Tim put together a nice persuasive email to one of the higher level people at Remax International, they've agreed to responded directly to Mr. Nick Bailey, and we got a response back, and we're going to get some early adoption into this KV Core program. So it's going to take us about 3 weeks to do the onboarding process, and after that point, we'll be able to roll that out to all our agents here at Remax First Advantage. So realistically, it's probably going to be about a month from now, but we're really excited to share that software with everyone in our office, probably a little bit earlier from the rest of the people who get it in our region.
Yeah, I think we were scheduled to get it in the fourth quarter of this year, and they have moved us up the chain to allow our company to have it now. So hopefully once we get the agreements on Thursday that we can sign them and get them back. They said that on average it takes 2 to 3 weeks to get the office portion of it set up, and then at that point, we can invite the agents to join. So that's the game plan. That's the big news. And hopefully it'll be a better system than what we had in the past. I know some people are already using it and have used it in the past, so we're excited for this new change. Anybody have anything they'd like to talk about or discuss?
Keith LaPerry just messaged everyone. I just want to make sure everybody saw. So there's some agents doing role play every Tuesday and Thursday at 8:15. So that's up here, that's in the office. So if anybody wants to join, please do so. The more, agents that join helps everybody out.
Yep. And then go ahead.
Yeah, so I also wanted to mention that obviously during this onboarding process, we're going to try to send out more of the features, videos, what's going to be included in this software program so that you guys can kind of get the highlights down pat before you're able to use it. And then throughout the year, we're going to have continuing training on this new tech.
Okay. Well,
Yep.
we will keep you posted as soon as we sign the agreements and start our process of getting the company set up, and then we'll invite the agents, and hopefully we all can use this new system. That'd be great. All right, anybody else have any questions before we end? Dad, anything you want to say?
Just stay positive, have a great day in this business, and just remember, you're the best.